I've got the HP Spectre X360 with me here, which is a really nice high-end convertible, a single unit convertible, so it's not a detachable. Comparable, I guess, to the Surface Book in terms of style and target market, although of course it doesn't have the detachable screen. Huge touchpad here, we'll have a closer look at that in a minute. Keyboard, everything is really quite stylish here, and this has got the latest Skylake processor in it, so this is not the 2014 version, this is the late 2015 we've got a 6600 Core i5, 6600U inside, that's a dual core, and I've done a bit of performance testing myself, but I'll also give you the performance test results from the Notebook Check full review as well. I'm going to give you some details about the display, some test results in terms of brightness, color range, etc., and we'll think about heat and battery life as well. That's the HP Spectre X360. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up either now or later in the video, or subscribe and you'll get notifications of videos as we put them up in this series. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the end of the video for the roundup and the final score. So in the meantime, here's the detail of the HP Spectre X360. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to show you this very bright silver against this white background, but we'll do our best. That's the convertible mode there, obviously stand mode, you get presentation mode, you get a tablet mode, and you obviously get that standard laptop mode as well. Let me just take you around some of the ports here. We've got headset ports, we've got two USB 3s, HDMI and a display port, volume rocker and the Windows button there. On the other side we have full SD card slot, power button and another USB 3 port. This is the fan output here. There's really not much to see here. Got a couple of speaker ports here. There is a removable base, about 6, 7, 8 screws there, possibly a couple under the rubber feet as well, and then more airflow ports there. As I mentioned, a really nice quality metallic finish all over on the Spectre X360, but just look a little bit at that screen wobble there. Obviously this is a touch screen, so as you touch that screen it's going to wobble about a bit. Apart from that, the actual hinges seem fairly strong. There doesn't seem to be any problem with hinge strength, just the wobble. The keyboard hasn't changed much from the previous model. It's still a very good keyboard with a nice backlight, and you've obviously got this huge trackpad here which really gives you fine control if you need to do placement across a large area of the screen. It's really quite useful. Let's give you some more detail on that screen then. It is obviously a glossy display, touchscreen as well, 10 finger, and it's a Quad HD display. So 2560 by 1414 pixels across that 13.3 inch space. On the brightness, 324 nits was the maximum we measured in the middle, which isn't too bad. Doesn't quite reach the 430 that we measured on the Microsoft Surface Book. We've got some details on response times on the website, so if you're into gaming, check that out. And I can also mention that we didn't measure any PWM screen flickering, PWM techniques used for brightness adjustment sometimes. A good contrast of 953, and the colours and grey scales checked out very accurately. Under 5 were the deltas for the colour and the grayscale, although they didn't come close to the really very good colour accuracy of the Surface Book Core i5, which reaches down to 2 on those deltas. The lower the better. 0 is perfect, 2 is very good, and anything under 5 is good. Let's give you some performance test results now. Cinebench R15, which is a pure CPU test here. The CPU multi-score 284 points. Looking at the last generation with the 5500, there was only a little bit of difference in the score last year, only 3% less in fact. If you look at the Surface Book Core i5, that's a little bit ahead, and that has a slightly different Skylake CPU. Looking at the XPS 13, which is another device that compares in this category. It has exactly the same CPU inside the Core i5 version, and it pretty much gives exactly the same CPU scores. On PC Mark Score 7, which it takes a lot of different types of computing, including GPU, CPU, memory and disk access as well. We scored 4939, which is a pretty good score. The XPS 13 4989, so pretty much the same. The Surface Book Core i5 slightly ahead. That might be because of its NVMe SSD, although I'll give you some details on the SSD in the Spectre X360 in a minute. We've got the HD Graphics 520 GPU inside, which gives it about 20% boost over last year's X360 with the HD Graphics 5500 inside. On that list you'll notice the Surface Book, which has obviously the NVIDIA 940M inside. That's really pulling ahead with nearly double the performance on the GPU score 3T Mark 11. Back to the SSD, you can see sequential read speeds there, very good at nearly 500 megabytes per second. And I'll pick out the 4K write speed, which is also a very important one, 75.55 megabytes per second, which is very good. Check out the website for a little bit of information on gaming, but I just want to mention noise and heat under load. We saw nearly 40 degrees on the front top center of the keyboard under load. Which isn't anything to worry about. I have personally run a video rendering test on this for 6 minutes and didn't really notice any significant heat. Maybe under hours of gaming that will build up, but our test was an hour's load test to get those results. Noise levels under load also pretty good, with a maximum of 37.9 dBA, which is barely audible, although sitting it next to the Dell XPS 13 it was slightly louder under load, but sitting it next to the Surface Pro 3 and the Surface Pro 4 it was a lot quieter under load. We did a Wi-Fi battery runtime test and got 8 hours and 20 minutes out of the X360 at 150 nits. It compares very well to the Dell XPS 13, which only got 451, and that's the same CPU inside. So I'm just going to mention 3 cons in terms of our pros and cons to run down. The speakers, not so good. The wobble on that lid is not actually very good for a touchscreen, and of course there's no maintenance flap for upgrading of RAM or storage. Good list of pros though there, and really an overall good score for the HP Spectre X360. So there's the HP Spectre X360 getting a good 84% score from us. Obviously a beautiful build here and very high quality materials. You'll have to make the value choice, whether that €1,200 cost is for you, but generally not only does it look good, it actually performs pretty well as well. Good selection of ports and a great screen. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you subscribe, you'll get notifications as well. So do that, and you'll get notifications as we put new videos up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next Notebook Check Tech Review.